try to defend slave traders.
Uh-oh. Peace and black power, family. We're already getting to it already. First of all, let me introduce my brother, brother Jabari. We got Jabari in the building. And we got, I am, and we got brother Professor Larry in the building as well. These two strong giants right here was going to get into some intellectual building. And Larry might be swimming out of water on this one. You know, I think Jabari's going to take him in deep and try to drown him. But Larry's, he's not, he's going to swim back. But Larry's not going to just drown peacefully. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to let you drown him peacefully. Because that's like Mayweather going into the ring with McGregor. But see, Mayweather is smart. You Mayweather. Mayweather said, no, you come to my ring. This is a boxing. Right, this is going to be boxing. Because Mayweather, no. If he would have went into McGregor ring, it was a wrap.
He would have got kicked in the head.
He would have got, it would have been a wrap. Right. So, hey, we already, I mean, well, you already know what it is. Now, I would like for you to do the same thing for my opening up. So, Brother Larry, what starts and what kicked all of this off, my brother?
Okay, so what began as a provocative post on my Facebook page of an image and the suggestion by myself that there was crackers in ancient Egypt too, right? Now, I didn't say who these crackers were. I didn't say at what time these crackers was there. I said on my post there was crackers in ancient Egypt too. Now, as a black man in America, I define a cracker as a slave trader, a participant in the enslavement of my people, whether by ownership, management, or you know, commerce. It could be a pirate. You understand? That pirate engages in that practice, he's a cracker too, right? So there was crackers in ancient Egypt too. Now, the period to which I refer will become obvious as we go along, but we're going to see where Brother Jabari was coming from when he posted his rebuttal and attempted to clarify, although I don't know what he was clarifying because I wasn't specific in what I was implying. I was being general, right? But for my purposes, we could start at 525 BC. Right? For my purposes, when I'm talking about there was crackers in Egypt, we could start at 525 BC, right? When Egypt got subjugated by Persia. That's where we could start, with Cambyses. You ready?
Peace, family. I'm always honored to be here in the heart of Harlem with my brother Sonetta and of course my brother Larry. I should say right off the bat that I enjoy dialoguing on critical issues, particularly people I respect, because then we have an even more fruitful discussion, debate. We're able to actually describe ideas. It's always better to have debate, discussion, discourse with people that you think actually have done some research, as opposed to just coming to this with their ideas, and I'm going to use this word very intentionally, their beliefs, because a lot of times what we end up doing is arguing about belief. Right. Rather than what they can prove. And then when you show things to them that are clearly contradictory to their belief, now you've struck to their core and now they have a problem. So that's not what I'm doing here with Brother Larry. So these kind of debates, similar to the one I had with Brother Reggie, actually are interesting. I enjoy those. Now let me say to you that I think that Brother Larry has well set this up. He did put up a post. You know, Brother Larry, if those of you who are his Facebook friends, he likes to put up provocative posts. And you always know he's putting up a provocative post because he always says, "I'ma drop this and run." Now, where is he running to? He's on his phone or on his computer on Facebook. He could put a post up anywhere. He could put a post up while he's at work. But the concept is, I'm going to put these into the waters and see y'all just deal with it. And I'll come back and see what the conversation is. So I appreciate that he does that. I enjoy that he does that. My challenge to him, if for those of you who were on that post, and there were a lot of responses, over 40, nearly 50 responses when I last looked, a lot of responses. My challenge to him is that I thought that what he put up was undisciplined. And let me say to you that just right off the bat that I am not just someone who practices Kemetic spirituality, because then you would expect someone who would just be dealing with emotion, and obviously Kemet was the greatest and all the other civilizations had major problems. That's not who I am. I'm sitting to you here also as a historian. As a historian, I know where the blemishes are. Let's be clear, family. There are no perfect nations. There are no perfect civilizations. There are no perfect families. That's just how the world works. There are no perfect human beings, so there are no perfect civilizations. So I don't want you to think that my disagreement with Brother Larry came out of what some people like to say is romanticization of Kemet. Because we know that our Hebrew brothers say that all the time, that we romanticize Kemet, we don't look at the blemishes. In fact, I'm even going to call out my dear brother, Divine Prospect, who did a presentation during the Hebrew Avengers event called The Romanticization of Kemet. And he just described everything that he thought sounded strange. That's not a presentation. Every nation has situations with individuals that do things that we would disagree with. Now, this is where I believe that Brother Larry was being undisciplined. He described the word cracker, and I'm really pleased that he described it the way he did, because I think most people would describe it that way. Cracker, the term cracker comes, it's not even necessarily a pejorative word for the Tomhu, for the European in their role in enslavement. In actuality, I think they're better terms, especially when you're angry. The cracker was called the cracker because he cracked the whip. That's not a pejorative term. In some ways, calling somebody a cracker is saying something pejorative about yourself. So, to say that Egypt had crackers, which is exactly what he said, hashtag OSHIT, what he was saying was that the Kemetic people, or at least some element of the Kemetic people, were akin to the European, the Tomhu who enslaved us. And notice when he starts this description, he says that he calls people crackers based on enslaving his people. So check the dichotomy here. This is where I think this conversation becomes undisciplined. When you say that they are enslaving your people, two things occur. First of all, it means that you identify strictly with the Nubian in the image, because the image was supposed to be, purported to be, Kemetic people actually bearing a lash on Nubians. And they were seated, and I will be very clear to you, family, they were prisoners of war. That's what Brother Larry was putting up. But when he says Egypt has crackers, what he's doing is he is making a racial commentary also. That's where the undisciplined nature of this comes. Let's be really clear. The Tomhu, often when they try to say that the Kemetic people were something other than African and the Nubians are African, when they do that, they are attempting to take away your legacy, family. They are attempting to say that the Kemetic people were not people of African descent. They weren't black people. And they do that by saying, well, there was conflict between the Kemetic people and the Nubian. That doesn't make any sense, because peoples of the same, and I'm going to use this term advisedly here, racial group have always had debates and discourse and wars. It's the reason why the European Union was brought about. The European Union was primarily brought about because Europeans, the Tomhu, have been fighting each other for over 2,000 years. Bloody, bloody battles. And so the European Union was built so that European nations, Tomhu nations, would actually have some interdependence, which would lead to greater peace. Because if your economy is tied to my economy, going to war destroys my people just as it destroys your people. So that's where I'm going to challenge him on. I'm going to say more, but I know Brother Larry wants to respond really quickly. I'm going to ask him when he responds why he wants to start in the 6th century BCE. Because was the picture from the 6th century BCE?
No.
He is simply doing that because he's trying to once again bring up some sort of racial dichotomy. Undisciplined. Brother Larry.
Now, thank you, master teacher. Now, family, what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna dial this down just a notch, because I want to make sure everyone understands what I'm about to say. Okay? Why I want to start at 525 is because after 525, I don't know, we dealing with weakness. We dealing with foreign invasion. We dealing with successive waves of foreign invasion, foreign influence, foreign reach out, decaying civilization. We dealing with crackers, basically. So why I want to start there is because after the fall of Egypt in 525 BC, they only temporarily regained independence, right? And they sought assistance from Greeks and Spartans. So they brought Greek and Spartan soldiers in. And you know soldiers don't travel with women. Yeah, everywhere. Soldiers come, mercenaries. They don't bring women, they bring mercenaries.
Okay.
And mercenaries leave behind what? African mercenaries left what in Sicily? African mercenaries left what in Spain? White soldiers left what in Africa? Everywhere. Chinese soldiers left what? Japanese soldiers left what? In Hawaii.
But why?
What I'm saying is, brother,
Okay.
after 525 BC, until, let's say 443 BC, that was a Persian province, Egypt. And then it regained independence until it was attacked again. And then it lost again to the Persians until Alexander took it from the Persians in 332. When from 525 BC down to three. No, what I'm saying is this, right? What I'm saying is this. I ain't saying no I'm not saying no
Sa said
Well, you know, Sarnetta got hype shit, right? Sarnetta gotta be Sarnetta. We don't hate the brother for that.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
We love the brother for that.
Yeah, this is why we get together.
Why he has a big platform.
You understand? So what I'm saying is this, right? How I like to look at history, right? Is I kind of like to look at the history going on around the history that kind of like causes stuff to happen. Because you know, when you dealing with empires and kingdoms, you dealing with foreign trade, you dealing with a whole bunch of stuff, right? What caused the war between Persia and Egypt in 525 that caused Egypt to lose its sovereignty to Persia? Brother Jabari?
I love sitting with intelligent, articulate brothers, because one of the things that they know how to do is they know how to do sleight of hand. This brother's a master of prestidigitation. Family, do not follow the hand that is waving around, because the other hand is moving the ball. And I know that you see where the ball went. You could tell him exactly which cup it's under. In fact, he got the ball under his sleeve. There is no ball. You saw it.
I ain't got no sleeve.
Because I started by asking him why 525. And he said, well, that's when foreign invasions occurred. Let's be really clear. I know the history of Kemet. I'm going to be, this isn't even disrespectful, but I'm going to say I know it better than this brother I'm sitting with. Larry is an excellent generalist. He really understands African history in all of its phases better than people who sometimes teach in the university. I've watched him, and I know that he's a studious brother, right? I enjoy sitting with him. But this is prestidigitation. His picture was not from 525.
No.
Let's be really clear. In fact, he showed you a picture, and maybe, family, what I need to do is show the picture. What he did is he put a picture up. I don't know if you can see it in the day.
Well, you will send it to me too.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, I can
Brother
see it.
Sonetta.
Yeah, I see it real good.
A picture that was supposed to be the Kemetic people
What is it?
with Nubians.
What is it supposed to be?
It's supposed to be
Time out.
the Kemetic people. Look at their headdresses.
What is the heading?
Look
What
at
is
their
the heading?
attires.
What is the heading of my post on that picture?
It says Egypt had crackers too.
Okay. Now,
And you would assume, no, wait.
See, now,
I'm going to pin you.
no, wait,
I'm
no,
not
no.
finished. I'm not finished.
I
Let me
know.
finish.
Okay.
That's why I have the mic.
Okay.
But let's be really clear here. If you say something like that, you should assume that in the picture you are seeing crackers. He didn't say, guess what, they're alligators in Florida, because you would say, well, Brother Larry, why did you show that image? He said Egypt had crackers too. So you should assume that the people who are dressed like the Kemetic people are the crackers. And henceforth, the Nubians are the African, are you. And so I want to be clear that if he wants to start with 525, we could have that discussion. By the way, I also want you to know that even that argument is an attempted presidigitation. Because you know what else he's doing? Let's be really clear. Even though, yes, the Kemetic Empire brought in mercenaries to fight their wars, and there were successive groups of people who actually came from outside, let's listen to what the person that Tom who call the father of history. I call him the father of Western history because, you know, when you have a history as long and as ours, and you have people who are recording it, those are the people that should be the fathers of history. But let's be clear that before 332, when Herodotus comes, after the Persian waves and the Assyrian waves and all of those peoples come in, it is Herodotus that says that the Kemetic people had woolly hair and dark skin. So let's be clear. Yes, more foreign people came into the land, but that doesn't mean that if he wants to say that after that period we're talking about crackers, then it's almost like he's saying that you and I must be crackers too, because I'm sure that if you did our DNA, you would see something, my DNA and your DNA. You would see something different than just the African. Are you saying you're 100% African?
no. I know I know what native blood I have.
What I'm trying to say to you is, just because there is, I'm going to even be polite, and I'm going to say intermarriage. Let's not even be polite. Let's say that they're the offspring of people from different lands, not just the people from Mother Africa. That doesn't mean that they're not Africans. Yes, there's intermixing. I'm an African. I'm sorry. I'm not going to talk about the Irish person that's in my lineage or anyone else, because I identify with the African. So let's be clear that even that attempted presidigitation is just to confuse you. But we're really talking about the fact that Brother Larry has called the Kemetic people crackers, and the Nubians are supposed to be you, family. Now, let me give you a little bit of history, because Brother Larry has given history, and I want you to understand the history. Throughout Kemetic history, the Kemetic people, having one of the most powerful empires in the history of humanity, did battle with people from different regions. And in fact, in order to be in control, that's how They believe they were able to be the top civilization. They were able to be stronger than their neighbors. And so take a look at this image, family. Here you are seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The number 9 is important here. You're seeing 9 people here with their arms bound behind them. And underneath them, you will see an oval, which actually is the name of those people. We could talk about who those people are if we get that deep.
Can you put that picture up too?
But the point, no, this is a historical picture. You have to understand that the Kemetic people did battle with people they called the people of the 9 bows. So that there were 9 groups of people in their region that they had to be more powerful than in order to be the top dog in the region. So when you see the Nubian, yes, you have to understand that sometimes people that we would consider the Nubians today were in that group. Yes, they were. Now, let's also give you a bit more history so you understand. It's not an excuse at all. What it is it puts things in context, because you have to understand historical context. That's the reason why I said what Brother Larry did is undisciplined.
Context.
Yes. Now, of the image.
Say that to me?
I sure did.
Did you?
Because your image
in 5 minutes
didn't. You want to? Was I talking too long? You want to add something?
I mean, but you just engaged in 5 minutes of Houdini prestidigitation, right? You went from you even threw in some emotional fish into the water. Yeah. Talking about you intimated that maybe, you know, your ancestors got raped by crackers, but you still wait, time out. That you still an African, right? And wait, no, this is what I'm saying. So you throwing for the emotional fish, right? You funny, bro. What I'm saying is this.
That's emotional fish, family.
Yes,
That's a fact.
Yes, bro.
Brother Jabari,
Bruh.
is this complexion
in this context
because of foreign people?
Bruh, in this context, bro, you throw it for the emotional fish of the people, bro, because you automatically know the people gonna say, well, yeah, some of our ancestors got raped by crackers, right?
It's a fact.
So what I'm saying is this, though, right? Because you know some of your ancestors got raped by crackers. How they got raped by crackers? Them crackers had women with them when they first got here. Right? We wasn't here.
They had women when they first got here?
No, when them settlers got here, when we got here, they had women. They brought us.
Look at the historical story
1619 was a damn settlement.
There were very
Listen,
few
bro,
women
1619.
in that
What I'm saying to you is, it was a settlement,
there
right?
Were very
Listen,
few women in
bruh,
the original
1619 was a settlement.
But what's the point?
My point.
Sure.
Look. What I'm saying is that's off the beaten path.
Right. I think
that's the emotional path. What I'm saying is back in 525 BC.
But why 525 BC?
Because in 525 BC, sovereignty was lost. The lands were conquered. But why? Why did they go to war? That's what I'm saying, Brother Jabari. Wait, time out. See, that's when you started the prestidigitation. When I asked you why did they go to war? Why did they go to war? Why did Egypt and Persia go to war in 525 BC? Why did they go to war?
You want to answer the question? All of the people in the region sought to conquer Kemet because, and I'm going to use the word Kemet, because Kemet actually was the breadbasket of the land. If you took Kemet,
that's why they went to war?
That's exactly why they went to war. If you took Kemet, what you would do is you would have enough resources that you could actually have a larger standing army. Because if you have enough food, enough resources to oh my goodness, messing up my language, to feed large swaths of people who then don't have to be in the fields, you can actually spend your energy doing other things. But I want you to hear that Brother Larry just wants to talk about 525 BCE. His post ain't got nothing to do with 525 BCE. We should talk about alligators in Florida.
Okay, let me do this, right? See, what I mean is this, family, right? You know that wars have pretexts. Right? You don't just go launch a goddamn war. You are an empire. You understand? The war in 525 was fought because there was an alliance between Persia and Egypt. And as part of the alliance, the Persian king asked for the Egyptian pharaoh's daughter.
That's a much earlier.
This is 525.
Okay.
Right? And he ain't want to send his daughter. So he
What king are
sent,
you referring to?
his name was Amos. He sent his predecessor's daughter. And when she got to Persia, she told who she was. And dude was insulted. And that shit started a war. A war. But by the time the war came, the king who did it was dead. His son fought the war
Folks,
and lost.
folks, that is the pretext for the war, but it's not the historical context for the war. But I want to be clear, I don't even want to talk about the war. I want to talk about the undisciplined reason that Brother Larry posted an image of the Kemetic people and Nubian captives. The picture, wait. Let's say this. The picture is not from that era. Brother Larry's post doesn't reference the era.
Let me say
He's bringing this up to you, family, on video. That's not what this is about.
Let me say this, right?
Are you saying he
No. Let me say this. Let me say this. Time out. Family.
Bucking dancing. You gotta make a longer term.
Family. Here's my staff, family. You see these faces carved on the staff, right, family? Take a good look at the staff, side nutter. See the face right there?
Watch the ball, family.
No. See the face right there?
Watch the ball, family.
And see the face right there?
Right.
Right? Now look. You see the big red face?
Uh-huh.
All right. Now look. That's the gold face, right? See the brown face?
Right.
That one's the red face.
Okay.
Right? Now, if I wanted to just shoot the look.
I'm listening. I am listening.
If I wanted to just shoot the shit about something, right?
Yeah.
I could tell you about the reasons why I carved those faces on this staff. You understand? And what they represent in the positions on this staff that they are on this staff, right? No. What I'm saying is, if I wanted the bullshit, family, and throw some sleight of hand, I told you at the outset, right? I posted a picture on Facebook, right? And I made a statement with the picture, and people swimming in the water, they bit that hook. Now, because people assume one thing about a post that I make doesn't mean that that's where Brother Larry's coming from. But now look, when I tell you there were crackers in ancient Kemet, I said crackers in ancient Kemet. Ancient 525 BC is kind of ancient. Now, I post a picture of some subjugated Nubians, right? Now, subjugated Nubians being subjugated, and there was crackers in ancient Egypt too, is how I caught this fish named Brother Jabari. And I got him sitting here right now, and he thought that what he was gonna do was show that Brother Larry posted a picture and that the picture's out of context because the picture doesn't actually portray crackers in the sense that we know crackers today, right? Brother Jabari thought that I was saying that these white people that we call crackers today were these people subjugating these brown people in this picture. Now, in no way did my post say that, and only someone swimming around in water looking for a quick, easy meal would have bit that goddamn hook. Now, what I'm saying, family, is when I talk about ancient Kemet, I could talk about ancient Kemet. I'm talking about 525. I'm talking about a war that was actually fought. I'm talking about the empire actually lost its sovereignty for hundreds of goddamn years. So they had foreign troops for hundreds of years in control of the empire, right? Now, I'm also talking about they were fighting back, and in their fight back, they sought help from Greeks and Spartans, right, to fight against Persians, right? Now, that was halted for a while because during this time, remember, we talking about 525, so another important war that happened during this time was the Persians and the Greeks was fighting too. Right? And then the Greeks was fighting with the Spartans and shit. All these wars was going on. We talking about 490 BC, right? What is that? When they had that shit, they still celebrate marathon. You understand? Where the motherfucker had to run 26 miles. That happened during this time. That's 490 BC. So you got the Persians. Remember, Persians are a big ass empire. Okay? At that time, the Persian Empire was larger than Egypt. Was like the Roman Empire became. You understand? So we talking about massive armies and troops on the move on different fronts, on different borders. Egypt was just one. You understand? There was an ally. Remember, the Persians was really fighting the Greeks. That's how they eventually lost to Alexander. And when he conquered the Persian Empire. You understand? They were enemies. So Egypt.
Family, you know what a cracker is. Did the Kemetic people have the word cracker? Did the Nubian people have the word cracker? A cracker is a word that has a particular etymology. He ain't talking about no Ritz. He's talking about those people who bore the lash on your parents' back and enslaved them. And in fact, if you listen to what he first said, that's exactly who he's referencing.
I'm not telling you.
So why in the world would he then put a picture of a Kemetic group of people and a Nubian group of people and say, Kemet had crackers too? He's not talking about, and listen, family, go back to the post if he doesn't erase it. Go back to the post. I don't think he will because brother Larry is intrepid. But I want you to hear this. So I'm glad, I hope you do, because I want you to go back to the post.
I got a picture.
And I want you to read, no wait, listen. I want you to read the comments. And I want you to specifically focus on what Brother Larry says. Does Brother Larry mention 525 BCE?
No, of course not.
So in the post itself, when he's dialoguing with people, oh, so the post doesn't have anything to do. Aren't we talking about the post?
Let me
Listen, you got to hear something really clearly. Brother Larry just told you that this conversation is not about the post.
Why would I? But
what is it about?
Family. Listen, family.
What's it about if it's not
Family,
about the post?
listen, this is so interesting, right? Because if you listen for a second, right, to me, right,
Oh, listen,
and not the wind, and not the wind, and not the wind from Hurricane Jose right here, right?
Are you hearing this, family?
just whooshing around,
Wow.
right? Not making no sense at all. Family, didn't I tell you that I posted that pic on Facebook and I put the words to it that I put to it, right? Because I was fishing, family. You understand? Anybody who sees anything that I post on Facebook understands that I post provocative things because I'm trying to start conversations. I'm trying to make people think. I'm trying to provoke thought. I'm trying to engage with my people. Sometimes I get other people. This time I got a big fish. Now, why would I come here having this big fish and he wants to tell me, I know he wants to defend ancient Kemet, okay? I know he wants to do that. Now, I don't want to attack ancient Kemet, right? But I do want to tell you that there was crackers in ancient Kemet.
Who would have cracked?
Wait.
Who would have cracked?
Ancient Kemet?
Who would have cracked?
Whoa. Time out.
Don't even go to
Time
that
out.
ancient versus anything.
Listen.
That's a red herring.
Listen to what I'm saying. That's not a red herring.
It is.
Let me do it this way. Right? Let me do it this way. Okay? In all conversations, right, that involve the subjugation of a people that I can identify as black, right, I'm going to refer to the people who subjugated them as crackers. Hence, Moors are crackers. Hence, there was crackers in ancient Kemet. Okay? Now, how do I know this? They left cracker evidence. You know, crackers like to brag about the shit they do. You know what I'm saying? You can see motherfuckers tied up that look just like your ass, right? And motherfuckers standing over them that don't look just like your ass. You understand? Now, who am I gonna call them motherfuckers standing over me that don't look like me? That's busting me upside my head, tying me up, and I know they ain't just gonna kill me because they got work for me to do. You understand? Whole lot of work need to be done. Every time that Nile flooded, motherfuckers had to work. You understand? They had to till that soil. Everybody ain't owned a farm and was happy. No, you want to talk about this cracker shit. So now we're gonna talk about that. What I was trying to deal with before, when I was talking about the foreign invasion, I was trying to show you that there was actually crackers that invaded that goddamn land. Now, since you know ancient 525. No, because the picture wasn't about that. Once again, right? Once again, the picture in my post, for those of you who are seemingly as slow as my fast brother Jabari right here, right? The picture was a post on Facebook about a post on Facebook.
What?
I expected to have a conversation with brother Jabari, having only my two previous conversations with brother Jabari to reference as points of reference for this conversation with brother Jabari, and I did not think that it would be confined to a goddamn Facebook post about a picture. What? Now, having said that, right, I can defend my post on Facebook in the context that it was made on Facebook, but sitting here with him and he wants to talk about crackers in ancient Kemet, I'm talking about a specific time when Egypt was conquered for hundreds of years and they fought back. They was getting their asses handed to them. They went and sought foreign assistance for this ass whipping, and they succeeded for a while. Then they got whipped again. Right? Let me see. 525. Look, 525 to 444. Right? And then again in 341 until they lost to the Greeks in 332 under Alexander. Right? So the matter of fact, the Persians was the kings of Egypt when Egypt was lost to Alexander. It wasn't no Kemetic pharaohs in Egypt when they lost to Alexander. It was a Persian dynasty in Egypt in 332 BC when Alexander took when they conquered Egypt. Brother Jabari.
And on the history.
Persians. Because they lost in 341 to Artaxerxes.
I think that we should actually really talk about
Artaxerxes.
the fact that Marcus Garvey played a really important role in Harlem, since we're sitting in Harlem. So let's talk. Folks, you have to understand, the only reason why I would say that to you is because Brother Larry is not talking about why we're here. He is attempting to regale you with his understanding of a history that we both know. And that's not what this is about. Let me read to you what happened, because I think he's pretending like you don't have accent. No, this is my response to his post. I said, Brother Larry, you know better. Battles between neighbors are as old as time. In fact, the major reason that the European Union was founded was because European nations had extremely brutal wars for several millennia. The EU gave these nations and forced them to work together for their mutual benefit. The further implication of the image you posted is that the Nubians are the Africans and the Kemetic people are ... well, something else. Please don't use this ridiculous argument that the European uses to discount the African heritage of the Kemetic people. Finally, we should all understand that there are no perfect nations. Using ancient group conflict to speak ill of your ancestors is beneath you. And then Brother Larry responds, I don't make excuses for slave traders. Hashtag expose them all. And he shows me another image of the Kemetic people having captured Nubians. And then so I finally say, after I say, do you think that what you're seeing is quote unquote slave traders? And then I say, you and I should sit down and have this conversation in full, maybe even on Sa Netter's platform. That's why we're here. He would like to talk. Wait. He would like to talk to you. He would like to talk to you.
What was my response?
He would like to talk to you.
What was my response to that?
I'm going to find it right here. It says, if you do not know what happened, you do not know what happened. You very well may be defending your very own abuser. Family, he never mentions 525.
No, what did I say?
He never mentions if what he's doing is fishing, as he calls it, then he's using inappropriate bait. He's using your Kemetic ancestors as bait. And he knows that if he does that, he's going to get people who study. By the way, I'm not here to defend Kemet. I'm here to defend ancient Africa. Because as he poses Kemet as the cracker, yes, that's what he was doing, family, and he poses the Nubians as Africans, what he's doing is he's insulting both groups of people. That's what he's doing. Because he's now making their internal conflict like this is national conflict, like these people are completely distinct. So in some ways, he's insulting both nations, both the Nubians and the Kemetic people.
May I please interrupt you at this
And so, no, not yet. I'm going to give it to you in a second, 30 seconds. So I want you to understand that this is a situation where I am here because, as I said, his post was undisciplined. And that when you post things like that, a very clear, almost everyone who responded saw the perspective like I did. Everyone. There was no one else that said, wait a minute, Brother Jabari, maybe we don't know what Brother Larry means. Everyone took the image the way that I did. So I want to be really clear that what Brother Larry is doing.
So is he walking out the back door?
He is, and I really wish, I'm going to challenge you too here, Sa Neter. Because when I clearly sat on 125th Street last Saturday and called my good brother, my dear brother, this is my brother right here, my dear brother, and I said, I'm here on 125th Street because I said that I thought that we should have a full conversation about the post you put up. And Brother Larry didn't have the time to stop. I'm not going to beat him up. I really believe he didn't have the time to stop. He passed by, he said hi. I said, you should stay and have this conversation. He said, I don't have the time to do it now. If I thought that he was running, he wouldn't have asked to sit down today. So honestly, he wasn't running. He wasn't running. I said he was running in the video, but obviously when he came back and said, Brother Jabari, let's sit down on Wednesday, he was not running, right? So I want to be clear, but I wish Brother Sa Neter had actually put no. Yes, I did.
You said I was
I did. But actually, based on your behavior today, Brother Larry is not running. He isn't running. But maybe he should. Because what he's doing is he's trying his best to do some really sophisticated mental, verbal, and psychological gymnastics to get away from the undisciplined nature of his post. I'm here because of what he posted. I'm not here to talk about the Persians. Okay. I'm not here to talk about alligators in Florida. I'm not here to talk about Marcus Garvey. Let's talk about what his post means, what his post implied, and why. If he wants to talk about something else, he needs to first say, you know what, maybe that was undisciplined. This is what I should have said instead of saying Egypt had crackers too.
Well, I think he did say that.
He didn't say that on his post. He's saying that now. Yes, he's saying it now. Right.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying that. Right? And the reason I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that, and the reason I'm not saying that is because there was crackers in ancient Kemet too. Right? Now, the reason there was crackers in ancient Kemet too, right?
I'm listening.
Is because they whipped your ass and made you work. It's just that simple, right? Now, I don't care what.
Real quick, brother. I'm sorry to cut you off.
He is dancing.
When you said the crackers was in Egypt too, and they whipped your ass and made you work, what are you saying? Like, what kind of work? You ain't. I know you ain't talking about building nothing or doing nothing else.
They made your ass work.
They made your ass work.
Pronouns are important here.
Gimme.
Don't get
Gimme.
confused with what it
Look,
listen to the pronouns.
yeah, listen to the pronouns.
They means that you are
Family,
not the they.
family, listen.
They made your
Listen.
ass work.
Family, listen.
So you are not the Kevin.
Family, listen.
You are the Nubian.
Family,
You
listen.
hear what he said?
Family, listen. Family, listen.
Digitation.
Family, listen. See, okay, look, let me do this for you, right? Let me do this for you. Recently, right? And I began to tell this story before and I got interrupted, right? Hopefully I can get this out, right? Recently, I was having a discussion in the juice bar on 145th Street, right? Shout out to the Reggae Juice Bar, right? And a customer who was in there was a Wolof guy from Senegal. And he entered the conversation. And we began to talk. And the brother took my hand and he said, you know, I'd like to apologize to you. I said, for what? He said, on behalf of my people for slavery. And I said, brother. He said, no. And the brother seriously, earnestly apologized to me on behalf of the Wolof people for their involvement in slavery. Now, at first, you know, I didn't know how to take the brother's apology, but he was dead ass serious. And we began to talk, and he said the reason he felt compelled to do it was because he heard me speaking and he knew that I knew the history. So he thought that I knew that his people was involved in that shit, right? But I only knew peripherally about the Wolof, but he only confirmed that shit. You understand? What I'm saying, family, is when you talk about the continent of Africa and you talk about the people on the continent of Africa, let's deal with the people we actually come from in Western Africa, right? Because what you're gonna find is you're gonna find some crackers in Western Africa too. You understand? And they turned to be crackers when their ass got Muslimicized. You understand? They became Muslimic crackers and they enslaved people who were not Muslimic. You understand? And at the same time we talk about these great learning institutions in Timbuktu. Timbuktu was a haven for fucking crackers. They was enslaving and selling black people in Timbuktu. At the same time that they had all them goddamn Quranic schools and they was learning how to recite the Quran. Yeah, because they cruising cars.
Yeah, they cruising like they looking to
No, they keep going.
They're good.
Right? So at the same time, you had all these Quranic schools that we like to talk about, and these institutions of higher learning at Sankore and shit, right? They were selling black people, so there was crackers there. You understand? So when I say cracker, I want you to understand what I mean by cracker. You ain't got to be white to be one. So cut it out, brother Jabari.
I want you to hear.
In fact, brother, the founder of the Songhai Empire, Soni Ali Burr, was fighting crackers, right? And the crackers he was fighting was Mandingos.
Family.
The Muslimic.
We are now in the 12th century, 11th and 12th century in West Africa. He posted an image that was literally 2,000, 3,000 years earlier. And what he has done, by the way, listen to the pronouns. I don't know if you heard me very clearly because I did not have the mic. He said, with regard to the image he posted, they are crackers because they enslaved your ass too. In the context of what he's saying, the Kemetic people are the they, and the Nubian people are the your. No, we got to finish this.
You ain't gonna let him get away?
No.
Let me get away.
Now, I want to say something really clear. My brother Larry, I'm telling you, I know we're around the same age, but this brother here is more limber than the most erudite practitioner of Kemetic yoga. This brother is bending and twisted. He got his arm behind his right foot. This brother he could literally fit into a box the size of a Rubik's Cube with the ability he has to bend and shift his joints. You heard the they, you heard the your. You have to understand that in his comment, they were enslaving your ass too. The they in this is the Kemetic people, and the your is the Nubian people. Once again, undisciplined, because he's falling into the Europeans' strategy. Wait, let me finish. Of attempting to separate the Kemetic people from you. Because if he even wants to say that this is not a racial issue, then at the very least he can say, we enslaved ourselves too. But he said they enslaved you too. But let's go even further, family. The image that he posted was not even of enslavement. No. The image that, no. We taking this to the nine. Listen, wait. Before I go back to the image, that's why we're here. Remember your point. Listen, wait. I gotta say this. Because we got to talk about the image. You're going to try to bring up something else as you continue. Listen here. Listen. Remember the point. Listen. You have to understand that the image that he's showing is not even one of what we would call enslavement, in the sense that you experienced here in the West, family. When groups of people do battle from the beginning of time, instead of killing everyone, sometimes what happens is people were taken as captives. That's what happened.
Did you just say that?
That is what happened.
Could you repeat that?
When groups of people have battles, sometimes captives are taken. Now, let's be clear, they could just kill everybody.
No.
But rather than kill everyone, they take captives. And those captives, yes, are taken back and forced to work. That's the reality. But when you look at enslavement in the West, we see something very different. We see the offspring of those people who were captured are enslaved. We see that an entire ethnicity / racial group is deemed to be inferior. That's also something that you don't see in the ancient world. So when you actually try to equate ancient conflicts between nations with our enslavement, once again, this is undisciplined, it's sloppy, and it doesn't allow our people to put this in context. When you make those kinds of comments, what ends up happening is people then, this is the result. People then say, well, we shouldn't hold the Tomhu to accord to what they did to us because we were involved too.
Incorrect.
That's what happens.
Incorrect.
By the way,
Incorrect.
When that ridiculous movie, The Gods of Egypt, came out, which was actually put forth by, I'm getting into it, you're going to hear it, when it was put forth by Fox Studios, 20th Century Fox, who was the producer? The producer was, what's his name? The guy who runs Fox, Rupert Murdoch. And Rupert Murdoch caught wind of the fact that people were upset that he depicted all of the Kemetic people as Tomhu, as Europeans. And so what did he say on Twitter? He said the ancient Egyptians weren't black, they enslaved them. When Brother Larry put his post up, he falls into the trap that the Tomhu is giving us.
Incorrect.
You have to hold him to account.
Incorrect.
If he put up an image and it really doesn't well describe the conversation he wanted to engage in, he should now go back to his family and say, you know what, this is what I meant to reference. I know this is how you took it.
Sleight of hand.
And I know that I'm showing you an image from one period and talking about a completely different other period.
Sleight of hand.
Maybe I should have put up this image so we could talk about the real issue.
Right there.
Brother Larry is slipping. Brother Larry is twisting. Twisting, slipping. You are doing some gymnastics. I'm telling you, this brother ain't got a joint or a bone in his body. Family, keep him to accord. You saw the image that he posted. You heard what he posted. That's what we're here about. So if Brother Larry doesn't want to talk about that, we could talk about something else. There are tons of things that Brother Larry and I could talk about. Tons of them. Tons of them. But that's why I'm here. That's why we're here. And I'm going to ask Brother Sonetta to put up the post.
May I?
The thing that I actually did on 125th Street so you can see why we're here.
May I?
Because what Brother Larry is doing now is he wants to talk about 525. He wants to talk about the 11th and the 12th century in West Africa. He wants to talk about all those things other than the post. What's the music?
This is what Brother Jabari's doing right now, family. He's just doing verbal ballet. He's trying to dazzle you.
What does it mean?
Well, you need, this is for your, now Brother Jabari, come on now. I came out here, of course not. Now it's my turn. It's my turn to start talking now. So you know the beat got Family, listen, this is some simple shit to understand. Don't listen to this man. He try to confuse you. He try to tell you some shit. He try to tell you that I'm here just talking shit. I'm spinning stories like a spider spin webs, but at the same time, his ass is getting twisted. You better check this out. I can't.
Go ahead, Brother Nazi.
Family, look, on the serious side though, right? When you think about this, right? Why is Brother Jabari trying to defend slave traders, right? Now, no matter who those slave traders are or when they were trading slaves, right? You know that he just sat here and told you that this don't have nothing to do with what happened to you. And then with his eloquent,
I appreciate that, brother.
articulate,
I appreciate that, brother.
lack of comprehension,
I don't appreciate that, brother.
he actually described the capturing of prisoners of war. And oh no, they don't kill them all, they just take some of them, and yeah, naturally they're gonna, and then gonna tell you that don't have nothing to do with you. Family, what do we know about our ancestors' capture in Africa? Weren't there wars provoked in order for captives to be taken, in order for slaves to be delivered? How the hell doesn't that have anything to do with us? It's the same goddamn thing, family. What I'm saying to you, right, is by the time it got to us, it had been mechanized. Okay, into a international system of trading, right? Now, what you have to know, family, once again, is Brother Jabari sat here and accused me, Brother Larry, of historical conflation.
We know who you are.
Family, when you know that I am the one who always say that you cannot conflate historical reality. You have to look at what was going on at the time of the incident in order to understand the incident. You don't just look at, boom, the bomb blast. You look at the fragmentation pattern. You look at the results. You look, if you want to know what the intent was, you look at what the outcome was. Well, why did they do it? Well, what the fuck did they do after they did it? You understand? If this was a war about business, then you would look for somebody to take over somebody's trade routes. You understand? You look at what was going on, family. What I'm saying to you is that at a point in time in history that we know, that we can trace, that's documented, right? Egypt lost its sovereignty. This is a fact, right? We know that they had trouble after that and never really fully regained their sovereignty. Never really regained their sovereignty, family, because after 525, they lost it again in 341, they lost it again in 332, under the Greeks, and they ain't never really got it back because then the Romans came in. You understand? Then the Romans came in. Now all I'm saying is, family, he wants to say that there was no crackers there, right? But
Is that what I said?
well, no. You try to say you wasn't the crackers that was there. I understand that. What I'm saying is that my post was one thing. This conversation to me is an entirely different thing, but they can overlap because you want to make them overlap and you want to stick to the post, right? We can stick to the post. No, I ain't doing that. We can stick to the post, but I was talking about what you hear about a specific incident of crackerism in your sacred Kemet, right? And you lost your sovereignty and shit, and you never really got it back while you was here. But on the post, that was something else. You made a statement.
That was something else.
Yeah, because you made a statement about my post. So I put another post up to show you that yes, it was crackers there. They was enslaving motherfuckers. What the fuck? What am I gonna call them? I call all enslavers crackers. I don't have another word for them.
Okay. Brother Larry has accused me of excusing slave traders, and I want to be clear that the post is not enslavement. Those people are prisoners of war. And you have to understand that when you have prisoners of war, by the way, look at the image. When you look at the image, you're going to see nothing but, wait, let me finish, let me explain.
No, but I can't believe
What you're going to see is nothing but grown men.
No, but I can't believe you.
Because what you're actually seeing is, in this instance, a number of Nubian people. In fact, let me show you a better image. A number of Nubian people were fighting with Kemetic people. And when they lost, they took them as prisoners. Am I saying that being taken as a prisoner, would I want to be taken as a prisoner?
I can't believe you.
No. But what he's actually doing is he's conflating being a prisoner of war with being enslaved. You know that after generations of being taken from your homeland, the Tom who was breeding us in order for us to work. We know that every person of a particular descent, of a particular ethnicity, was considered inferior and, in fact, considered enslaved. To conflate a battle between people which leads to prisoners with enslavement is undisciplined.
No, it's not.
And so I want you to understand that doing that is not helpful. And then to use the language we and they also leads to many, many, many misunderstandings and greatly historically challenged thinking.
Do you misunderstand?
So I want to be clear that showing an image of the Kemetic people
Misunderstand?
and Nubian people and saying Egypt had crackers too
Did you misunderstand?
is not what he's talking about.
Did you misunderstand?
If Brother Larry wants to talk to you about something else other than the post, we can.
May I?
But I'm going to give it to you in just a moment. But you should not allow him, family, to talk about something else without finishing the first conversation. We're not going to jump to another conversation other than the one that we are here for. We are here because of the post that he put up. And the post that he put up posits that the Kemetic people were not you, and that you are the Nubian, and that the Nubian was enslaved. That is not what happened. By the way, let me show you one other image so that you're able to put this in greater historical context. Sometimes when the Tom who does this, they show you this item here. This is a box that belonged to King Tutankhamen. And it shows King Tutankhamen on a chariot, fighting people that could only be called what we would call the Nubian today. Did you get it, Brother Sa? And so they show you that image, but they only show you the front of the image. Because if you look at the back of the image, this is the image on the box, you're going to even see, now take a look at this. Sometimes what they want you to do is look at this image of darker skinned black folks getting defeated and trampled by Tutankhamun. That's what they do. What they don't show you in the back of the image is the Nubian and other dark people behind King Tutankhamun. So in other words, what you are seeing is an intra-group conflict. You are seeing some people who we would like to consider Nubian today fighting with Tutankhamun against other people who we would consider Nubian today. Why? Because first of all, Nubia, for most of the history that we're talking about, the 3,000 years of Kemetic history, during that 3,000 plus year history, the Nubian people were very seldomly one united nation. They were different groups of people. And so the Kemetic people collaborated with some, and they had battles with others. And there was no period of time when all of the people who were Nubian were in battle with the Kemetic people. That didn't happen. And we know that Kemet itself was born from Nubia. So when you actually begin to create a us and they situation, it's undisciplined. It prevents us from understanding what actually happened. And I know Brother Larry, with his advanced understanding of history, could do better. He could do better by explaining to us exactly what occurred in history rather than misleading us about history. I'm going to show two more pictures and I'm going to be done. I'm going to give it back to you. This is also what the Tomhu does. Let me show you this one to you. It's of a cane, just so you could see it. It's of a cane.
Yeah.
And it belonged to Tutankhamun, and it has the Nubian bound at the hand piece of the cane. This actual cane, when they brought Tutankhamun's portions from his burial, was brought here at least twice in the United States. And they bring it here very intentionally. They don't explain much. They just say a bound Nubian on a cane from Tutankhamun. And the Nubian is darker skinned. So what they're attempting to do is to try to describe the Nubian as African, as you family, and the Kemetic people as someone else. Look at the piece that they will not send here. Take a look at this one. The Asiatic on one end of a cane and the Nubian on the other end of a cane. Why don't they send this piece when in the touring exhibits? The only reason why I know it exists is because I travel to Kemet and I see all of his collection in the Egyptian Museum. So what they are doing here is they're selectively choosing images with the Nubian under the foot of the Kemetic people. Why are they doing that? They're doing that because they're trying to give you a visual misrepresentation of who the Kemetic people are and then who you are. So I am saying that his image does something very similar. Yes, I am. I am. And you have to explain to me how posting that image and saying Egypt has crackers too doesn't do that.
Hold up. Now, once again, family, like I said,
that mic is
like I said at the outset, right? This not only is this mic not hot, right? But notice family that I'm listening to my music at the same time, right? Because the bullshit was getting so thick in here, right, that I needed to relieve the mental pressure that it was causing to build up.
He's under pressure.
Listen, no. Listen, the mental pressure that the left side of my brain was under, right? Because the right side of my brain was trying to get this microphone back from Brother Jabari. And Brother Jabari did not want to relinquish this microphone, so the left side of my brain was bubbling. You understand? Now, family, look. This is real simple sleight of hand on Brother Jabari's part,
I want
right?
to explain this one.
First of all, Brother Jabari is trying to intimate that I am somehow knowingly or unknowingly furthering the European plot to discredit the blackness of ancient
I'm not
Kemet. No.
intimating it. I'm saying it.
Now,
That's precisely what I'm saying.
here's what I'm saying, family. Right? Very clearly, since Brother Jabari done took his little narrow ass to Egypt on 14 different occasions, right? I know he done seen who in control of that place over there, right? And I know he know it ain't his ass, right? Now, how do I connect it? The same way you connected what I'm talking about in my post to what you talking about in your conversation. That's how I connected it. It's connected by the ether, right? Because that's the only connection that you have to anything that we was talking about here today. Now, what I'm saying is this, because when you try to intimate that I'm furthering the Euro agenda to discredit Kemet, right? What I'm saying is this, right? What I'm saying is this. Not only is that ludicrous, right? But that's kind of disingenuous on your part because, right? When
The because family, because it's gonna be a big.
yeah, because when I say there were crackers in ancient Kemet, right? I can tell you when they ass got there. I can tell you which crackers they were, right? And when they got mixed, they were still crackers. You understand? There's a famous queen from the Ptolemaic dynasties of Egypt. Name was Cleopatra, right?
The second.
The famous one is the 7th Cleopatra. So there was 6 other Cleopatras.
Right.
You understand? My point is saying that we talking about hundreds of years of interbreeding and intermixing. And look, let's just be serious for a second, family. And because this is Sarnetta TV, let me put it to you like this, right? How many of y'all see bunch of black dudes running around here with white women? Bunch of black women running around here with white dudes, right? How many of y'all see that? Okay? Now, if you see it now, and you know it's only possible because there was contact between black people and white people. What do you think happened in Kemet when there was contact between black people and white people? The same thing happened while you got African heads of state with white wives today. You understand? When you have that contact, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, brother, since you want to talk about all this off the wall stuff, what I'm saying is, what I'm saying is, off the wall, off the real wall, when you get white women around black dudes, you get dudes that want white women. You get white women that want black dudes. You get that shit. You get white men that want black women. You get that shit, right? So you get this mixed population. What I'm saying is the mixed population turns into something else, turns into the assistant of the foreigner. In our particular case, all over Africa, I could show you this time and time again where you get these, I don't want to say bastardized populations, but you get these mulatto populations, right?
That's almost worse than bastardized.
Not really.
You calling them mules?
No, I'm calling them mulattoes, and since I'm not speaking Spanish, no, watch how this works, brother Jabari, because you're educated, so you should comprehend this readily, right? Because I'm not speaking Spanish, I'm not saying mulatto, I'm saying the English version of mulatto, which is the offspring of one black parent and one white parent.
Which is its etymology.
But listen to what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the etymology. I'm talking about the application of the word in English. Okay? American English. In American English, a mulatto is a half white, half black baby.
All right, now, let me ask you a question, Larry. And I know you don't care about it, but I want you to entertain it for a minute. just for a minute, where I could get both of you to chime in on this right here.
What's that?
And don't say it's full of shit or whatever. Just chime in on it.
What?
Because people want to hear your take on it. The flat earth, the theory. People going in on the flat earth. What is your understanding of the flat earth? Because now there's a lot of people coming up saying that it's a possibility that the earth is flat. And the reason why you don't go to the end, because it's non-stop. It's like, you know, go on in on that.
I'm not gonna go in on that. No. I'm not saying I'm not gonna go in on that. I'm saying I'm not gonna go in on that, right? I'm gonna say to you that you drive a car. Okay? So because you drive a car, your car drive on roads. The roads are constructed, right? You know, all these roads intersect.
Right.
So they go around the city or around whatever, right? But when you reach the end of a road, what happens?
You got to make a U-turn on the end.
Or you enter something, you enter a town or something.
Right.
And then you reach the end of that fucking town, what happened? Water or expanse of some shit, right? Now, what I'm saying is, if people everywhere could go to the edge of their town and be at the edge of the world, you don't think people can see each other? Just some stupid shit like that? Huh?
I don't get it.
I know you don't get it. The reason you don't, you understand what I'm saying, brother Jabari?
This is the challenge I have, and I'm going to say to you, family. I'm not sure if I think I might have said this on one of your videos, brother Sonetta. I never intended to get drawn.
He's calling you out, brother.
Is he really?
You know he.
Yes. I didn't know who Sanchez was. He's Flat Earth Society Brooklyn. Right. Yes, he actually said. Yeah, he actually said that he wants to build with me. He said build first.
They all over my face.
And I want to be clear with you that I did a presentation several years ago in front of the Haramaket, that statue known as the Sphinx, wrongly today. And I mentioned the Tekken, and I said that even later scholars are able to tell the circumference of the Earth. I didn't say whether it was round or not, because at that point I thought that this discussion was ridiculous, and there were just small groups of people having it. So I didn't even engage myself in it. But the word circumference drew me into the debate. And so people actually attacked that video. I want to say to you very clearly that people who are in the Flat Earth Society are there because of the Tamhu. When you see African people who are engaging themselves in this debate around a flat earth, it is because of the dastardly things that the Tamhu has done. We no longer trust the European. We no longer trust the Tamhu. So much that almost anything that comes out of his or her mouth, we would rather say it must be the opposite. Family, you have to come to this discussion, this debate, with some nuance and some intelligence. It is impossible for everything that they ever say to be wrong. That is not possible. And if you had even a cursory understanding of history, the concept of a spherical earth is not a European concept. It comes out of Africa for the most ancient time. I will actually take you, Brother Sonetta, to the Metropolitan Museum, where you see one of the oldest depictions of the world, and it is round. It is in the Metropolitan Museum in the Kemetic wing.
Oh, wait.
We've been saying it's been around for a long time. So I want to say two quick things and then drop this mic real quick on this flat earth thing. Because you don't trust the Tamhu, and you probably shouldn't. And you want to be able to fight them, and you probably should. Don't make ludicrous arguments as the basis of your debate, because you will surely lose. The world cannot be flat. It's ridiculous for you to think such. If you thought this in the time when people were disconnected from people just a few hundred miles away, so they didn't understand the world, maybe I would understand that you were just simply ignorant because you hadn't traveled anywhere, and that's the reason why you thought those things. But we don't live in that world anymore. We haven't lived in that world for hundreds of years. The people who are part of the Flat Earth Society have never gone anywhere. I've been in a plane for 11 hours. I've called my parents from Cairo and had to apologize because I was calling them in the morning where I was, but they were in the middle of the night. Because I got so caught up in what I was doing, I forgot what they were doing. How do you explain the fact that in one area where you've been just the day before, it's in darkness, and the other part is in light? How do you explain that? This is very simple, family.
They will.
Are you saying that the Tom Who is so sophisticated that they're recording my calls and playing it at a strange time? How do you explain the fact that I'm listening to them at the same time? How do you explain the fact that we're watching the same cable channel and we're actually talking about the fact that it's 3 o'clock in the morning here? Really? Well, it's 7 hours later where I am. So it's actually nearly afternoon. And we're watching the same show at the same time. How do you explain the fact when you look at the heavens long enough, you can actually look at the closest body to us, the moon? And if you watch it every day, let's say for 2 months, not for 1 month, but for 2 months, you will actually, for more than 2 months, you'll actually see the different contours return and resume because the moon is spherical. Why would the earth be flat and every other body that you can see be spherical? Why in the world, and I know that you'd like to believe that NASA has such an embedded interest in giving us the concept of a spherical earth. I don't even know why they would want to argue that, how it empowers them. But NASA is so connected to this concept that they have doctored and have continued to doctor all images that are taken outside of this stratosphere of the earth. By the way, what about the Chinese images? What about the Russian images? Are you telling me NASA is so powerful, that the United States government is so powerful that they have control of satellite images from those countries as well? Family, you have to approach this with some sense. And then finally, here's the one that makes the most sense. The most sense. Are you saying that when we get night, that what's happening is the pancake is flipped? Do you know how quick that flip would have to occur for us to have night and day? I mean, are you telling me there are some people that could stand at the edge of where they are and see both night and day at the same time because they're on a flat surface?
But they say, they argument.
This doesn't make any sense. So you're saying that the earth is eternal?
Yeah, that's what they say.
So how could the earth be eternal when people have been able to circumnavigate the earth? And if it's eternal, why are some areas in dark and other areas in light? This doesn't make any sense. What you need to do, family, if you're in the Flat Earth Society, is take a nice plane ride someplace where you're going past time zones. And you also need to get a telescope. You don't have to listen to the Tom Who.
Look up.
Just do that.
Look up.
And you'll finally understand. And then you got to explain to me why the moon is spherical. And you might say, well, how do we know the moon is spherical? Because someone's not listening to me. Look at the moon every night. In fact, take a really good picture of it. And you will see that the contours on the surface, the craters on the surface, are slowly moving. One night, they're not in the same place they were the night before. And if you watch it long enough, those same contours will go out of your image, and they'll return on the other side of the image.
But Jabari,
So why would the moon be spherical? Why would every other surface that we can see with a telescope that you could buy at Radio Shack, why would those be spherical and the Earth not be?
but Jabari,
We have to come to this with some basic understanding.
your argument is not going to convince them. It's not convincing me. Look.
Why is that?
No, listen. It's not convincing me. Because if I thought that they was trying to trick me, right, I would think
Who's they? The
whoever they think trying to trick him into thinking that the sphere model is incorrect, right?
Uh-huh.
If I thought they was trying to trick me, right, I would think you were just, trying to participate in the trick.
Oh,
now,
me you mean?
yeah.
Okay.
Now, what I'm saying, that's what you said. You said you thought I was trying to participate in the European trick to discredit Kemet, right? Chess player. Now, what I'm saying is this, right? I know you can't follow along because you still playing checkers, brother. Listen, right? Listen.
It's funny.
Listen. What I'm saying is this. Here's the analogy you just drew. You just drew an analogy, and you drew earlier an analogy between my post and the European plot to discredit ancient Kemet from being black civilization. That's the analogy you drew. And you said you didn't intimate it, you was saying it.
I was saying it.
Now, what I'm saying is, I understand that sometimes a oversaturated cerebellum, right? Your cerebellum
is not
oversaturated,
There's so
right?
much more I need to learn.
Right, but no, it's oversaturated with Kemet, right? So I understand.
That.
You told me that.
I never
right?
said that.
Sonetta, point your camera at Brother Jabari.
It's already at your brother Jabari.
Point your camera at that big ankh he walk around with. Well, hold up
I
that
have one
big.
around my neck,
No,
too.
no, hold that big one up.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, family, saturated with ancient Kemet.
What about the shirt
His
I'm wearing?
medulla
What
oblongata.
about the shirt I'm wearing?
His medulla oblongata is a ankh. Now, all I'm saying is this, family. When I'm talking to this brother, right? I give him the benefit of the doubt that he know what he's talking about ancient Kemet, right? And what I find is not just him with ancient Kemet, right? But them Muslimic brothers with ancient Songhai and Mali and Ghana, right? Anybody, right? Even the voodoo brothers with the ancient voodoo, they don't want to tell you the shit they was doing. Them motherfuckers was crackers too. You understand? They was sacrificing people, family. Sacrificing people for voodoo. Brother, family, the palace, the king's palace.
Back here, family.
The walls in the king's palace.
Which king's palace?
In Dahomey, right? Blood in the walls. You understand? Who blood you think that was? It wasn't no white people there. You understand? And they wasn't.
To do with the flat earth.
Hold up, listen what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that when motherfuckers turn into crackers, they ain't just white. You understand?
He took this back.
Yeah. Cause well look, I'm always talking about slave traders, bruh.
I'm gonna say something.
No matter what I'm talking about.
You need to learn when to run to the lifeboat.
No matter what I'm talking about. No, actually it's not. The reason why it's not is because look, the reason why it's not, family, is because I can show you the same thing about to occur again because people who don't learn from their history are doomed to repeat it. You understand? So now, what do we know about the fall of Kumbi Selah, right? The fall of the ancient Ghana Empire. We know that the kings allowed Muslims traders in, and they set up a whole separate goddamn town. And what happened? After a little while, they started getting converts. You understand? And after a little while more, they started getting stronger than us. And what happened after that? Muslimic slavery. You understand? We seeing the same shit happen again because a lot of people not paying attention. We see the same thing happening again because a lot of people don't pay attention. They don't see history repeating itself. They don't see trends and cycles recurring. They can't see what's going on because they don't look. You understand? If you don't understand history, you will repeat that shit. Now, I could take you around Harlem and show you this shit unfolding right before your eyes. You understand? Now, I'm not telling you that these modern day ones are going to hit us in the head and enslave us. But what I am telling you is that the fact that we have a divided, let's call it a divided kingdom, right? where we have one thing going on one side and something else going on the other side, and they're not, I don't know, complementary, they not assisting one another, they not, they just going in their own separate ways. You understand? Leads to discord. It led to discord in the past. You understand? And in the past, that discord turned to our detriment. We ain't recovered from that shit yet, brother Jabari. We ain't recovered from it yet. And I can further show you a pattern. You like to talk about Nubians and ancient Kemet, right? Notice I never once said Nubians. You understand? But you'll come to know that the Nubian stock was prized. They were taken, prized. Still being who's taking them? Arabs. Arabs. How you think you got the Sudan the way it is right now?
You have a unique ability to stay on a topic and still not talk about the topic. How in the world did he just do that? First of all, we had turned the corner and we're talking about flat Earth. He took it back to talk about the cracker.
Yeah, fuck flat Earth.
And the reality is that he's still not talking about his post. Family, that conversation is dead. You are able to see, let me just say this and finish it. Let me finish. You are able to see that what he's talking about now has very little to do, almost nothing to do with what he posted. And I've held his feet to the fire on it.
That's a good point, bro.
I held his feet to the fire on it, and he's talking about everything else. He's talked to you about the Mandinka. He's talked about Kumbi Salah. He's talked to you about 525 in Kemet. Rather than deal with the image that he posted, he's tried to equate. He has tried to equate the Kemetic people to crackers.
Enslavement.
But the image he posted to you was not about enslavement.
What was it about?
It's about intra-communal struggle and captives of war.
No.
It's
brother,
not
listen,
the same
listen
thing.
What you just said.
Family.
You just said that.
Family.
You just said that.
This brother is all over the map.
Did you just say?
He's all over the map.
Say that taking prisoners of war.
What's up, man?
Did you just say taking prisoners? Excuse me. Did you just?
No, that's not you. It's a fly.
Did you just say taking prisoners of war?
Yes.
Is different from capturing people.
Use the word.
No, because they're not slaves. They're not slaves when you're capturing them in war. You understand? Our people weren't slaves when they were captured. Brother Jabari.
When you look at the image Brother Larry posted, you're going to see that they are all adult Nubian men. I'm going to say Nubian because I'm not exactly sure which group in Nubia they came from.
People when they were captured.
But I want you to hear this.
What were our people when
the Tom who captured children,
No.
the people that they captured and enslaved, many of them were not warriors. When you listen to the story, I think it's the story of Harriet Jacobs. Please, family, forgive me if I'm actually conflating stories here. But one of our dear sisters who talked about her enslavement talks about how the Tomhu would put a piece of red fabric near her village and another piece of red fabric and another piece of red fabric, leading to a place where she would be far enough from her family that they could capture her. This was a child. When you look at the Tomhu and what they did when they enslaved us, I'm not saying that Africans didn't fight their enslavement. Of course they did. I can tell you lots of stories where Africans fought and sometimes even won against enslavers. But what you have to understand is that, generally speaking, when we were being enslaved, they were enslaving entire groups of people. The only people they didn't want were the elderly. They would take the most productive people, and usually they were not people who were warriors. That's the difference between, one of the major differences between who was captured during enslavement and who was captured during internecine struggles. You're making my point. You see a child there with a woman.
That ain't what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Then he zooms the picture in to not include the child and the woman. Family. Sonetta, did you get the image that he showed?
What I'm talking about.
Did you get the images that he showed?
Yes, he got it.
Sonetta, please. Please, Sonetta, you gotta look at what he's showing you. He just zoomed in so he could not show you exactly what I'm referring to. How could a brother show an image that doesn't support his argument?
Jabari, that's what you talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
That there were Africans involved.
That's what I'm talking about.
But that is not talking about that. Brother Sonetta, that is brother Larry, that is not in debate here.
No,
I am well. By the way, listen, the other thing that he has to understand, is that I understand the history just as well as you do.
That's not what I'm saying. You keep describing prisoners of war when you're talking about Kemet and Nubia. But then you're intimating that our ancestors weren't prisoners of war.
No.
That's exactly what you're doing. What I'm saying to you, brother, is that's the Eurocentric perspective that you're representing. What I'm saying, yes, because what I'm saying to you is that my ancestors were taken as prisoners of war. Okay? They were taken as prisoners of war. Now, after being taken as prisoners of war, some of them were traded for guns and gunpowder and rum and shit.
What does that have to do with this?
Wait now, because they still weren't slaves. You understand? They weren't slaves when they were traded for guns and gunpowder and rum. They were prisoners of war that got exchanged for guns and gunpowder and rum. They just got exchanged to some other motherfuckers. Now, this shit really happened. You know, I don't understand how people try to deny that this shit happened.
We're not disagreeing on any of that.
Now, what I'm saying is at the same time, no, I'm not, because what I'm saying is you're trying to actually argue an argument that we're not having, right? Because I'm saying that the real history is the real history, right? You want to think that because at a certain point in time during the real history that the place that you hold dear was doing shit to my people, right? And you saying that because you saying that because I disassociate myself from that place at that time, that I'm disassociating Kemet from, I don't know, black people or Africa or what have you. Look, let me say this to you so that you understand that that's not what I'm doing, right? Let me say this to you so that you understand that it is with your biased mind that you hearing that, right? Because you are used to dealing with people who come from the position of either this way or that way. I'm telling you that there is an alternate view of reality that you're not considering. I'm not coming from the European perspective, and I'm not coming from the Kemetic perspective. I'm coming from Brother Larry's perspective. Brother Larry sees anybody, anywhere, that attacks black people, right? Now, understand me. When I tell you in Mauritania right now, black people are under attack, right? By crackers. And when I tell you that those crackers in Mauritania look like you, if they was here.
And you.
Yeah, well, I'm saying, if they were here.
I don't want the family to understand.
No, I'm not.
They look like us.
What I'm saying is that all crackers don't understand the cracker in the context of our cracker. See, I'm not saying they our crackers. Our crackers is our crackers. Look, I have this conversation with people and they fail to understand. Not all white people are crackers.
You gotta look at that while he talking. Just look.
Not all white people are crackers. You understand? There's different kind of white people here. Okay? So now if you understand that there's different kind of white people here and that all of them ain't crackers, right? Why is it so hard to understand that you could have crackers somewhere else and that, oh shit, everybody there is kind of black, so that the crackers is black too? Why is that hard to understand? Well, how is that somehow contrary to common sense and reality? When you see people, Sanetta, running off the continent of Africa and they fleeing motherfuckers, who you think they running from?
Other Africans.
Crackers.
You call them crackers. Are they?
See, brother Sanetta, here's what your problem. Listen, see, here's the problem we're having.
All the shiny object.
No, here's the problem we having. Right? It's not a shiny object. It's a lack. It's no, it's not, because it's a simple lack of comprehension. Right? Okay. Let me put it to you like this. Right? If I'm looking at the subjugation of my people, okay, and I'm looking at the people who subjugated my people as a class of people. When I look around the world and I see the same class structure, which class structure you think I'm going to identify with? I was looking at a video last night, right, and a guy his ancestor was taken from India to Fiji, or one of those islands, right? And him as a descendant, he's trying to trace back his roots and shit, right? So he grew up in London, so you know what I'm saying, he sounds like a British guy. And he's going through this stuff, and as he's talking, he said that if he could be anybody in history, anytime in history, he would want to be a European planter. And he went on to explain how wonderful life was for these motherfuckers. They had everything. They had coolies to clip their toenails while they serving fandom and shit. Now, this is a descendant of a victim of this shit. And to him, he's romanticizing that shit. But look at which person he romanticizes himself to be. He want to be master. A lot of slaves want to be the master. Fela Kuti said, growing up in Nigeria, people would go to London and come back and be the master. He said he wanted to go to London and do the same thing. He never thought about being African until later on in his life. What I'm saying to you, brother Jabari, is sometimes you could get lost in the perceived opulence of your enemy's culture, right? And somehow think that it is so spectacular that it's better than your own.
So who's the enemy in this instance?
Well, let's say from this perspective, I'm taking the perspective of the Nubian.
That's, you know what?
Right?
Why did it take us?
And no, wait, listen. Let's say in this instance, I'm taking the perspective of the Nubian, right? So let's say I'm thinking like I'm Piankai, right?
PA is the way he referenced.
Right? Well, I'm just saying, right? But let's just say I'm taking his perspective. So I'm gonna go kick me some Kemetic ass. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because they on some bullshit up there. And they
That is not even what happened.
I'm just saying.
Listen.
Look, wait, whoa. I'm just saying, listen. I'm just saying, well, make it play.
Brother Larry, stop.
What?
Stop. You are too intelligent and too versed to make these simplistic arguments that don't benefit our people. First of all, let me address something very quickly.
Address it quickly.
Brother Larry would like to say I am completely ensconced in Kemet. And he told you, look at my ankh. He didn't ask you to look at my shirt.
Well, I wasn't looking at your shirt.
Yeah, there's a reason why I didn't ask you about my shirt. Because my shirt is from West Africa. I don't connect myself more to Kemet than to West Africa. I'm an African. My degree is not in chematology. My degree is not in Egyptology. My degree is in Africana studies. So what he would like to do is paint me as someone that is so connected to Kemet. I'm not going to say Egypt, which is what he tried to do, which is interesting mental image he's trying to paint, so that you are once again creating a dichotomy. And I'm not falling into that. I'm not falling into that. Let me finish. So what he's doing is he is trying to say that I am so in love with Kemet that I cannot see his blemishes. Brother Larry, I can talk to you more about things that I disagree with in Kemet probably than almost anyone you've ever sat with, because I have studied the history of Kemet and ancient Africa more than most people that you're familiar with. This is what I've done all my life. He talks about my trips to Kemet, yes. But I've also been to the sites that he's referring to. Been to Ghana twice. Been to Ethiopia. So I want you to hear, I got called an Obroni.
And a white man.
A pretty little white girl is what that means.
No, it doesn't mean.
It means pretty little white girl.
White
Brother, I'm telling you, that's what it means. It means pretty little white girl. Okay, listen, we're going to get someone here that can actually confirm that, because that's not even the struggle here either. What you have to do is recognize that Brother Larry is setting up a dichotomy once again. No driver's license in this conversation. You're not driving a bus. You're not driving a car. You're not riding a bike. Are you Are you back? Brother Larry is trying to set up a dichotomy once more where the Nubians are you and the Kemetic people are the cracker. He is once again conflating the transatlantic enslavement trade with the Kemetic people. And in order to try to make it fit, he's doing some really bizarre mental gymnastics, and he wants you to compare it with the 6th century BCE. When his post has nothing to do with the 6th century BCE.
Put your arm up there.
My arm is right there. You put your arm against mine. And now what is he trying to do? What's he trying to do?
Look, family. You see that, family? Family, do you see how much darker than Brother Jabari?
Now he's trying to bring up colorism.
No, listen. Do you see how much darker I am than Brother Jabari? Family? No, listen. He went to Ghana and they called him a white boy, right? They called me that shit in the Bronx, right? Look, I have had conversations with, listen to what I'm saying. I'm going to show you the point in a minute. I have had conversations with young people from Ghana, right? And they talking amongst themselves, right? I'm working in the room, they talking amongst themselves, and you know why I interjected, because what I hear, nigga this, nigga that, nigga this, nigga that. You understand? So I checked them, right? Because they weren't talking to me or about me or even taking notice of me. They were, talking like kids talk. But because they ass just came from Ghana and now they in my jungle and they adopting the native language of my people and they picked up that nonsense, right? I gave them some history on the nonsense, right? And at first they didn't get it, right? But one of them said that how am I gonna tell them about Ghana and why should they listen to some Obroni, right? But I knew what it meant, you understand? So I checked them and I told them, I said, look, right? The fact that you think I'm an Obroni, but your man right here, look, his man, his father was from Ethiopia and his mother was from Ghana, but he was really light-skinned, right? I thought he was half white and half Ashanti, right? And I asked him, I said, well, you the lightest Ghanaian I ever seen. What are you? And he said, oh, but I'm half caste. I said, really? He said, yeah, my father from Ethiopia and my mother from Ghana. So now, they do not see themselves the same like diasporic Brother Jabari does. You understand? Oh, I'm African, all Africa. No, that's not real. So that has never been real. It's not real today, and it wasn't real historically. You understand? So not real today, and it wasn't real historically, right? It's not real today, and it wasn't real historically. I can show you time and time again, and we can go to South Africa, right? In South Africa, there is an entire population called colored people. That is the mixed people. It's not the black people. It's not the white people. It's not the Indian people. It's the mixed people in South Africa. They call them colored. If you go anywhere, even here, no matter what because we've been dominated by Europeans, and Europeans said, hell with that, all y'all black. You understand? Because I need you to understand what you're doing, brother, not what I'm doing. This is what you're doing. And because you're doing it, I really need you to understand that. Like you said, no, this about Africa. When you look at, you seeing Kemetic, this is intertribal. No, brother, see,
This is what? This is
intertribal. This is inter.
I wouldn't use the word tribe.
Well, I'm saying whatever word you use, what you trying to do is you trying to suggest that the shit wasn't fucked up because these was the same people doing it. No, shit was fucked up, and they wasn't doing it because they was the same people, because they don't look at themselves as the same people, is what I'm saying.
But listen, in order to pretend that he did not say, in order to pretend that he didn't say what he did, in order to not be excoriated, let me finish.
Had an agreement with me.
She was saying hello to Sonetta. She was not even referring to what you said.
Yeah, okay.
She was not.
Yeah, okay.
She was greeting you.
Yeah, okay.
I don't even know if the sister was listening.
Yeah, okay.
But you have to hear that in order to not be held account for the sloppiness of his post, in order not to be held account for falling into a long-standing ploy of the Tom Who, he is taking you all around the Creator's green earth. The reality is that he is creating dichotomies that don't make sense. He's even tried to say that people on the African continent don't see themselves as one people. Family, that is a really lazy argument that does not acknowledge the reality that the continental African and the diasporan African face. It's almost like we should expect that if the continental African says something ignorant, then that's real. He said that the concept of being an African for all the continent is not real because some children said something stupid. You gotta understand, family, that's the story you just told. You gotta understand, family, that just as Africans here and our consciousness of who we are suffered because of enslavement, the consciousness of the continental Africans suffered due to colonialism. So yes, continental Africans will say things that are very ignorant about us and even about themselves.
It's not going to get.
It is Africans. I'm not even on the hook. Africans here have to now come to this conversation as a more unified people. I could also give you examples of people who are attempting to unify African people. This brother here is taking you all around. He's describing things we don't disagree about, all to not address the reality of what he said. And sometimes he shows you his cards. And you've seen it, family. You know that he's creating a really sloppy dichotomy between the Nubians and the Kemetic people.
Is that what
You've even noticed that he's created a sloppy dichotomy amongst continental Africans and diasporan Africans in the common day. And he's even conflated wars between different African nations and the transatlantic slave trade. All of that is really sloppy, conflated, because you're trying to say that battles between the Nubian and the Kemetic people were similar. Family, I don't have much time. I actually have to leave. But I want to say this. Let me say this final thing and I'll give you back the microphone. We have to be disciplined about the way that we describe the situation that we're in and describe the situations that we found ourselves in all throughout history. And only through an understanding, let me finish. And only through a more comprehensive understanding of history will we then be able to understand exactly what we must do. And I want to say, and then I'm going to conclude, and I'm going to listen to what Brother Larry says before I leave. I'm not going to say this and then leave. But I want you to understand that when we do that and we're sloppy, we don't lead people who don't have a better understanding of the history to our understanding of the history. We mislead them. That's why I don't, when Brother Larry puts up his provocative posts, I very seldomly say anything. But this time I did because I thought that it could actually lead to great damage. And I want to really, it could lead to great damage because people look at Brother Larry as someone who has an understanding of our history, and he does. So I believe that his post was sloppy.
But you're telling me that it wasn't
And
real?
if you are here to educate our people, because you have the benefit of extensive research and scholarship, you have to do better. That's all I'm saying.
Well, hold up now.
Now I'm going to give this back to Brother Larry and see how he's going to try to once again take you all around Harlem, all around Africa to try to explain that away. But I really have less than 2 minutes because I have to get onto a phone call.
Family. Brother Larry is not a teacher. Brother Larry is not a scholar. Brother Larry is trying to start a fight. I told y'all that years ago. So I also told you, somebody said, who you trying to start a fight with, Brother Larry? I told you I'm trying to get you to punch that nigga in your mind in the face. Know what I'm saying? Now, here it is. I make a Facebook post that apparently caused the phoenix to rise. Right? Because it set Brother Jabari ass on fire and got him out here with me today. Right? Attacking my post. Trying to suggest that my post was somehow a COINTELPRO post.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Time out. Whoa. No, he don't got me back. I'm not
backing off it for
I'm
2
not
hours.
backing off of the post. I just think that the post is too narrow. Right? That's too narrow.
Your post was too narrow?
Yeah, that's too listen. For this conversation, that
So
post
for 2 hours now, he's finally admitting.
no, that post was too narrow
Was
for this
poorly-
conversation.
was poorly
Look,
presented.
when you no, it wasn't poorly presented. I didn't say poorly presented. Those are your words.
said too narrow.
See, but you didn't allow me to finish. That post was too narrow for the great Brother Jabari to sit next to me and have a discussion about. You understand? If we're gonna have a discussion, then we're gonna have a discussion about something like we're having a discussion about. But if we're gonna deal with my post, I deal with my post on Facebook, Brother Jabari, and I dealt with the post on Facebook. That's why I told you, look at what my response was to that post. Did I respond? Yes, I responded. What was my response? Look at the post, look at my response.
I've read all his responses.
Okay,
man.
now,
You should too.
all I'm saying is this, right?
Go check it out.
Check it out.
I
Now,
might put it up.
all I'm saying
Now
is
let's
this.
be clear what day we're filming this.
put it up
Don't let
on
him
video.
go and put some other stuff
No,
on there.
listen. See,
What date are we filming?
now, Brother Jabari, you're insulting,
right?
you're insulting my integrity right now, Brother Jabari.
No, he don't take nothing down.
You're insulting my integrity,
September
Brother Jabari.
20th.
Listen.
I'm not saying you're gonna take
no,
it
no,
down.
listen. Let me tell you what I removed. Let me tell you what I removed from Facebook, right? I removed from Facebook what Facebook tell me I'm gonna shut your ass down if you don't take that shit there down, right? If they don't say that, everything I ever posted is there.
I'm not suggesting you're going to take it down now. I'm suggesting that you might add some better
Add what? Better what? For what?
color.
Color for what?
your post.
Listen, I don't have to add anything. The
Just
post
understand
speaks
we're
for
filming
itself,
this September
right?
20th.
What I'm saying is this.
Anything. What's up?
This is simple to
At 3
understand,
p.m.
right? At some point in time, I can show you, family, how once you got invasion in Africa and you got the invaders mixing with black women in Africa and producing lighter skinned offspring in Africa, they use those lighter skinned offspring in Africa against the people. I can show you that time and time
We're not
again,
disagreeing about that.
and I can show you it here, family.
We're not disagreeing
so
about that.
all I'm
That is
saying
a
is,
fact.
all I'm saying
It has
is,
nothing to do with the post.
all I'm saying is, family, when you look at Ancient Kemet, family,
Uh-oh.
and you look at that post that I posted, family,
Uh-oh.
and you look at who's tied up, family,
Uh-oh.
and you look at who doing the tied up,
Okay.
family, what I'm saying, family,
Okay.
is you looking at,
Listen to
you
what
looking,
you're about to
family, you looking at the offspring of them mixed invaders and them indigenous people that was in power, them Brother Jabari, them Brother Jabari looking people, right? that was running around with their feathers on their fucking head, talking about they was the grand poobah and shit, right? And they came down there fucking with us in our village where we was just down there playing our drums and minding our business. Because they wanted some work
Brother
done.
Larry need to read a book.
So the Kemetic brothers was
No. You gotta stop this. He waited for 2 hours when I had to leave to drop that. Because now, once again, he's being provocative. And look at him laughing because he knows that he is. He knows that he is. This don't make no damn sense. None. No damn sense. I'm through. Now listen, family, I think we have massaged these issues very well. I think that you understand what I am saying. I think you understand the contradictions in what Brother Larry is saying. And I think that I hope that this kind of thing draws you towards learning more and not now saying I don't need to know more because we enslaved each other too, or
525.
some of our great civilizations enslaved us. That's what he's doing. By the way, this conversation has nothing to do with 525.
332.
When is the image from?
525.
When is the image from?
525.
The image is from 525?
341.
When is the image from?
32.
When is the image from, Brother Larry?
525.
When is the image from, Brother Larry?
I don't know.
So why would he like to talk to you about 525?
Listen,
he wants to talk to you about 525.
525 because I can document it.
Folks, this is ridiculous.
525,
This is ridiculous.
341.
The Post didn't say
332.
Later in Kemetic history there were crackers too. He didn't say that.
When they were there.
Because if he said
I
that,
didn't say when crackers was there.
we would have had a
I didn't say
different
they was there.
conversation.
I didn't say when they were
And then
there.
what he did is he proceeded to then
didn't say when.
post other images
I
of
didn't say when.
Nubian people who
I
were
didn't say
captured.
when.
I gotta
Say
go.
when.
I gotta go.
Ancient Kemet.
I enjoy talking to you.
every day. Brother
Family,
Jabari,
beat him up.
Listen,
beat him
they
up,
not gonna beat me up. Family, listen.
About the face and head.
Family, listen. Here's the truth, right? Before Brother Jabari jump in his chariot, right? And
And roll on.
know what I'm saying? Before he leaves, what I need you to understand, right?
Me or them?
Is when you family.
Okay.
What I need you to understand, right? Is when you look, what you're gonna find is that when you started out with a jet black ass civilization,
Oh my goodness.
jet black ass civilization,
No.
right? And over
No.
what?
No, don't do that.
Not jet black.
Listen,
do that.
can I finish saying what I'm saying?
Don't do that.
Can I say what I'm saying?
Come
Can I say what I'm saying?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
He gonna make this be a part 2 and it's not even worth
Can
a
I
part.
say what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
Now, when you look, since Brother Jabari like to show you pictures of Tutankhamun, right? Tutankhamun, right? Before they put that knife to his neck and made him change his name to
is not what
Tutankhamun.
What? That is not
Look,
what happened.
listen, right?
That
listen.
is a historical.
See, listen.
It's a historical.
Listen. The little punk fucker, he ain't did shit. They showed his ass with all that grandeur because he did one thing and one thing only. He signed a piece of paper, a piece of parchment that restored. Listen.
No, he does not.
Wait.
No, he does not.
That restored the priesthood of Amun Ra, cause Akhenaten had disbanded that shit, took all their power away. Now, if you want to imagine what that's like, imagine. You see how much power the Catholic Church got?
Yo, you giving the Hebrews some.
You see how much power the Catholic.
saying something
Listen.
that's
You see how much power the Catholic Church got?
But yo, you giving the Hebrews.
You see how much power the Catholic Church got? You see how much power the Catholic Church got? Imagine if they said, boom, Catholic Church is defunct and all their property and shit. All the priests and shit with all them buildings and all that shit they got. All those Catholic schools and all that shit, right? Is now, boom, nothing. And we taking over and they renaming some shit, right? That's what Akhenaten did. So now, all I'm saying is, after they murdered Akhenaten, right? They got this little punk to sign the paper. First they got I, but I didn't want to do it, so they murdered his ass. Then they had this little punk, and he did it. And then once he did it, they set him up, then they got rid of his ass. That's why he died so young.
Damn, Larry going in.
I'm just saying.
Not only is Larry not going in, Larry is making a conjectural story.
I'm
What
just
he's
saying,
saying
right?
is not it is possible that some of what he's saying is true, but the reality is, family, that we don't really know. There's nothing that tells us. There is no version of this that proves that Tutankhamun was murdered. There's no version of this that proves that I was murdered. There's no version of this that says that Tutankhamun. I was very old when he came to the throne.
How long was he
He was very old when he came to the throne. In addition to that, you should also, but we don't, anyway,
How long?
you have to also understand that there's no proof that anyone forced Akhenaten to change his name to anything.
No, not
The man that it was likely, he said they put a knife to his neck. I'm sorry, yes, King Tutankhamun. Right. So let's be clear. There's no proof that anyone put a knife to his neck. Did he change Kemetic spirituality back to its original form? Yes. But in addition to this, we also don't know whether his burial was was magnificent because of that. The reality is that we have actually only found very few intact burials. So it's possible that other burials were just as magnificent, but they were more pilfered. So we don't know. If you look at someone like Seti the First, whose tomb is much larger than Tutankhamun, you should assume that his burial was even more magnificent. I have been in both the tomb of Tutankhamun and the tomb of Seti the First. I've been in the tomb of Ramses the Ninth, who was larger. Ramses the Third, that was larger. This brother here, I'd ask him if he's been there.
See now, no.
So what he's doing,
I got you out of your room to get you
what
in.
he's doing is he's making a conjectural story. What he should do if he's going to teach you, family, is he should actually, I just gave you reasons why it may not be right.
But
because a historian will give you all of the information and make an argument. What you have done is you've made an argument without giving all the information.
But can you say that's wrong?
That is not how you instruct and teach our family.
But I'm
family,
not a teacher.
you
Can you
need
say
to
that's
know.
wrong?
Well, I am.
Okay,
so I'm going to
that's
instruct
your
and teach
job.
you,
Can
and you have
say
to
that's wrong?
understand that what he's
Can you say
doing,
it's wrong?
what he's doing is not helpful. It's
But
not
can
helpful.
You say it's wrong.
It's not helpful.
But is it wrong?
What I'm saying to you is that it's one possible story.
What I'm saying is, did Akhenaten disband the priesthood of Amun-Ra, the most powerful priesthood in ancient Kemet?
The other thing that he does is that when we have a debate on something, he asks for me to agree on something he knows we don't disagree on, as proof of something that we do disagree on. That's really slick.
No.
That's really slick.
All I'm saying is,
Brother Larry, is it the afternoon on September the 20th? You was watching Prince York. That's what you was doing, because Prince York does something similar.
all I'm saying is, no, I don't
Listen,
know about no
this
Prince
has
York.
nothing
I
to
don't know
do.
about no Prince
This
York,
has nothing to
right?
do with what Akhenaten did. The
Yes,
things
it
that we're
does.
disagreeing
Yes, it
on is that Tutankhamun was forced to do something, that Tutankhamun was
how did he get in
murdered,
position?
and that
How
his
did he get in
uncle
position?
I was murdered.
How did he get in position?
And also that his tomb is definitely larger and more splendid than other tombs. We don't know all of those things.
Well,
So give people all of the facts.
All I'm saying is this, family. Okay? See,
I gotta go.
See, Brother Jabari wants to do this. He wants Egypt to be holier than now. So when you see the treasures, quote unquote treasures, that they found in the grave of Tutankhamun, right? Tutankhamun, changed to Tutankhamun, right? When you see the treasures that was found there, right? They want to tell you that all of the pharaohs was buried with enormous treasure, and that this was just the only one that they found intact. What I'm saying, family, is how about they hit him off lovely because he did them a service, right? And that's why he has so much treasure. And the rest of them was just, just regular, you know what I'm saying? Just regular. What I mean by that is that if you find all of that treasure, all of those objects there in that one tomb, and we know what he did, and we know how important that was basically, I'll give you an equivalent. You see Wall Street in New York? That was the equivalent of giving Wall Street back their trader's license. That's what Tutankhamun did when he sanctioned the priesthood of Amun-Ra. The priesthood of Amun-Ra was the Wall Street of ancient Kemet. They controlled it. That's why Akhenaten did his coup and knocked them off. See, the Europeans want to portray it like it was some type of religious movement where he was no, that wasn't a real religious movement. That wasn't a real religious movement. That was about that money, family. This an empire, family. They was in control of the purse strings. They was in control of the purse strings.
To enroll in my course on ancient Kemet, because what he's saying is he's bent and manipulated history in a way that is likely not true. There are some things that he says that are possibly true, but it's one possible story, and he's giving it to you like it is book and verse, like this is what happened. And that's not what historians do. I know that it is much more entertaining to describe it that way, but that's not what we do. And so we should continue to have this conversation on the meaning of Tutankhamun's reign, because it might be interesting. But please, I'm going to tell you the whole story, and then we'll make our analysis, because Brother Larry's giving you one analysis. He hasn't, by the way, addressed the fact that there are many tombs that are more magnificent than Tutankhamun, but they were empty because they were pilfered. I want you to actually address that.
That's the allegation.
What's the allegation?
That they were pilfered.
Oh, that they weren't pilfered?
No, that's not what I'm saying. The allegation is that...
We know they were pilfered.
That's not what I'm saying. The allegation is that they didn't have the extraordinary stuff that because of their pilfering. Right, what I'm saying in closing is that how do you know exactly what they had in there?
We don't.
Okay.
I'm talking about the room.
So because it was big, that's all.
But wait.
Big empty space.
Okay, wait a minute here. Family, if you break into one bedroom apartment and you see magnificent riches, and you notice that nobody broke the lock, when you go to a mansion and you notice the lock is broken, you should assume that the mansion had amazing things in it. And that one of the reasons why it didn't is because the lock was broken. So he's not making a good argument. Here, Tutankhamun's tomb is like a one-bedroom apartment in comparison to the large, massive tomb of Seti I, of Ramses III. There are a number of tombs that are absolutely gigantic, but we know that they were thoroughly pilfered. Because actually, we also know they're pilfered because some of the items that we knew were in the tomb were found elsewhere. So we know that they've been pilfered. So he's making one argument. In fact, it's not even the best argument.
I'm not even making that argument, because when you look at the tomb of Tutankhamun, what you see is stuff was just thrown in there, piled in there. So they could have moved it from a bigger tomb and then put it in there because stuff was being robbed. You know what I'm saying? So you don't know. That's all I'm saying, brother.
Okay, so with that,
I'm done, family. We're going to have to continue part of this conversation. Hopefully it's not going to be about that ridiculous post, but we will continue perhaps to talk about Tutankhamun. All right. Peace, family.
You attack